Coming to you from deep within the heart of Texas in our secret underground bunkers, it's the New Republic Radio Show. Welcome everybody to the Friday edition of the New Republic Show. I'm your host Keith Clark. We're here having a great day in the secretive underground bunkers of the New Republic. It's been a good week so far, and it's been a very warm day outside, but that's all right. Well, we've got quite a few things going on the past couple of days since our last show. So this show is going to be a little bit long, so you might want to break it into two parts. Maybe listen to it right when I upload it, and then maybe listen to the other half when you're doing your cardio later today. Or in the morning, who knows, whatever. But yeah, I'm going to try to not make this a complete, like an hour-long show. Hopefully I can speed through a lot of it. All right, well, to start off, we're going to talk a lot about the economy because, of course, that's on everybody's minds. A lot of people are just frustrated with it. They're aggravated. People are out of jobs. If they're not out of jobs, they're stuck in a job that won't pay more, can't pay more. Or they're what they call underemployed, where that same situation that I was just speaking of, or the fact that they have multiple jobs. So, I mean, you know, a lot of us are having trouble right now, and there's a lot of hard times. The news that's been coming out on that, and to address that, for instance, this is 41 straight months that we've had above 8% unemployment. You know, we won't even talk about the whole fact that Obama boasted that he would get us below 6. Also, it's the longest stretch on record of this type of unemployment, this type of bad unemployment. And that should really highlight the scenario and the situation and the seriousness of our situation that we're in. In fact, I was completely surprised that CNBC actually posted the real numbers, the somewhat real numbers. It's still a little bit doctored, but it's a lot closer to what the actual unemployment numbers are. Here they have a highlighted note here saying real unemployment rate shows far more jobless. And they have the unemployment rate at 14.9%. Now, 14.9%. Basically 15% of the country is out of a job. Not talking about underemployed. Not talking about has multiple jobs because the one job can't pay for it. Not talking about the people that are stuck in one job and they just can't get a raise or they can't get a promotion because the business is not doing that great. And we've all been in situations like that before. We understand it, but the simple fact is this is 41 straight months of that. So my question to the liberals out there, my buddies out on the left, why is this okay? And why do you still defend Obama? Why is it that you don't recognize failed policies, failed attempts, and just honestly, it's not so much of his failed policies, which there are quite a few, but it's really the simple fact that for 3 years, Obama really focused on Obamacare. And he really did next to nothing for the jobless rate. Now, you could look at that two ways, and you could say, well, Keith, you're making an argument for the left and saying that, well, he hasn't really tried anything. So if he tried something, he could maybe do something. Okay, maybe. But do you really think that if Obama had the magic answer and he was just pocketing it, hoping to tell you this on the second term around, don't you think he would have just done it? What's the point of holding that? That doesn't strengthen his hand in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, I think he purposely held it back because of his Marxist leanings, is because of his designs on the United States. He purposely does want our economy to be in bad shape and to be in a bad position. So there you have it. That's the situation that you have. Is he was focusing on Obamacare for 3 years, and he really ultimately didn't care about the unemployment. And that's what we're left with. That's what we're dealing with. 41 straight months above 8%. Now, That's fine for Obama because ultimately that was his goal. But my question is to you liberals, how can you support that? And how can the media, because overall the media really does, they do their best to cover up this kind of stuff. Like I say, I was absolutely shocked that CNBC actually posted the real or very close to real numbers of unemployment. They showed the 14.9% instead of the 8, 825, 849, whatever, that everybody else shows. And I was really surprised. I was really shocked by that. Anyway, give me a call, 979-31-TALK-6, 979-31-TALK-6. Tell me I'm wrong or give me your viewpoint, my liberal friends. Tell me why, it's okay for you that Obama has had us at 41 straight months of 8% unemployment. Let me know. Give me a heads up, And also, to many of you out there, some of you new listeners, I am not all about Republican or Democrat. I could care less, personally, whether Obama was Republican or Democrat. I dislike both parties very much because, to me, in the real world, in a real conservative world, the Republicans nor the Democrats fit the bill. Because you really, in reality, what you have is you have conservatives over here on the right. Then you have the Republicans, which honestly are more moderate. And then you have the Democrats, which are the liberals. And then, of course, the crazy left way over there. But that's how the reality of the parties are right now. There is no actual party on the conservative side. Yeah, you have some Tea Party candidates, but they're not a separate party. They're intermingled in with the Republican candidates, and representatives. So honestly, I could care less again whether or not you have an R or a D beside your name. If you're a moron, I'm going to talk about it. If you're an idiot, I'm going to talk about it. I don't care. Now I know, I say a lot of bad things and I diss on Obama all the time, but it just happens to be that he is the largest policy maker and he's the guy that's doing the biggest plays all the time over there for the left. So of course he's going to get most of my ire. But I guarantee you, watch, if Romney gets in there, he's going to have plenty of fodder for me to talk about, and I'm going to be complaining more than I'm going to be I'm going to be complaining and admonishing him more than I'm going to be praising him. So, that's just to give you an idea, you new folks, an idea of where I stand. Because I stand more for what's right and the right way, the correct way of doing things, rather than a party. I could give a crap less about party. I know a lot of you people still maintain your parties and you're Republican or you're a Democrat and you just vote straight down there, all D's or all R's. You know what? That's the old way of thinking. That's gone. That's in the past. People are starting to get educated. We're starting to learn. We're starting to understand that these parties don't work for us and they don't represent our thoughts and our ideas and our wants out of our government and out of our lives. So, you folks can keep doing that, but we're not going to get the changes that we need. We're not going to see the new republic with doing those type of things. We have to understand each candidate and what they stand for and put the right person in the right place. Anyway. Oh, what else we have here? Obama campaign sues to restrict military voting. Now, this was in Ohio. Now, why in the world do the Democrats and Obama want to stop the military from voting? They basically had a law there in Ohio that allowed 3 extra days for the military to vote. And that is completely understandable because so many of them are deployed. They're all over the place. They have to move here and there. I think it's completely understandable to give them a little bit of leeway. But for some reason, Obama doesn't want that. He doesn't want them to have that right and that ability, and I just don't get it. My only thought process there is that, he figures that most of the military is not going to be voting for him. So if he can get that out of the picture, then he'll have a lot better chance in Ohio. I don't know. You decide. A new book by Richard Miniter contends that it was Valerie Jarrett, Obama's top advisor, who repeatedly urged President Obama to not take out Osama bin Laden, prompting Obama to cancel the mission 3 times. What is with that? Why would you do that? This is just another piece of the puzzle of Obama's background and why he believes so strongly in Marxism. No president in the long history of this republic has had a mentor like Obama's. His Frank Marshall Davis was a literal, and I mean literal, card-carrying member of the Communist Party of the USA. His Communist Party number was literally 47544, if you want to look it up. With declassified FBI documents and Soviet archival material, those documents reveal A. Davis that he was so suspicious that he was placed on the federal government security index, which meant he could be immediately arrested if war broke out between the United States and the USSR. With that sort of with that sort of pro-Soviet influence throughout his adolescence, 1970 to 79, because he basically Frank Marshall was like a father to him. But Barack Obama would have trouble getting a security clearance for an entry-level government job, let alone sit in the Oval Office. Nonetheless, Obama sits in the Oval Office today thanks to 4 factors: the American voter, a scandalously biased media, a skillful election strategy charted by David Axelrod, and the careful nurturing of Valerie Jarrett. You know, with this kind of information that is not hard to come by, you can go buy this book today and you can see the proof. You can see his actual Communist Party number, 47544, and you can look up and find out who Frank Marshall Davis was. You can read his book, Obama's book, Dreams of My Father, and you can read about Frank this, Frank that, Frank all. Like, he basically, like I said, he was like a father figure to Obama. You can read about that. He doesn't hide it. Yeah, he doesn't come out in like an interview and talk about, oh, well, yeah, Frank Davis, he was like a father-like figure. Yeah, and he was a great communist. Yeah. No, he's not going to come out and say that. But the thing is the information's there. But my friends on the left, you don't care to look it up. You don't care to find out about your president. And honestly, my friends on the right, too few of you know about this kind of stuff. You need to help educate people out there. Anyway, I just thought y'all might want to know about that. Again, ICE agents, Obama won't let us arrest illegals. The morale is very, very far down there with the ICE agents. I mean, what are you going to do if it's your job to arrest illegal aliens and keep them off the streets and keep them from selling drugs and firearms and doing all the illegal stuff that unfortunately illegals tend to get into because of their particular status and because of their basic outlook on life, because they came to America in an illegal way. So that already shows you that they really don't care much about rules. They don't care much about laws. But we have a president that doesn't care about that. He needs voters. He needs illegal voters. He's trying to win the presidency one more time. But yeah, I really do feel sorry for the agents because I understand why the morale's so low. Ahmadinejad. World forces must annihilate Israel. Yeah, that's what he said. In a speech published on his website Thursday, my left-leaning friends, if you don't believe me, if you would like to go to his website and check this out, you can verify it. Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said the ultimate goal of world forces must be the annihilation of Israel. What has this man and this country done for anybody in the world? He doesn't care about his country. He doesn't care about educating them. He doesn't care about feeding them, getting them jobs, making them a world power in any other way other than nuclear power. It's a very sad thing. And all he cares about is war with Israel, wiping Israel off the map, killing all the Jews. What is his problem? Well, maybe that's just the way he was raised. Maybe it's his culture or whatever. And that's understandable to a point. But why is it, more importantly, that Obama wants to have such a great ties with this country, with specifically Ahmadinejad? Why is it? I mean, this man is out of touch, both Obama and Ahmadinejad. They are out of touch with reality. Why is it? I really have to say that it's their hatred and dislike for Jews that unite them. And that is really the main reason why Obama wants to reach out and make a connection with Ahmadinejad. And yes, I call him Ahmadinejad because that is just, nobody wants Aquavelva. It's outdated. It smells bad, and it's a terrible, copy of any type of real smell that anybody might actually want. As many of you know me, I like high-end, very good smelling scents. Aquavelva is one of those cheaply made. It might as well be up there with Brute as far as I'm concerned. I can't imagine Ahmadinejad being a Creed man or a Bond number 9, or I can't imagine him wearing anything that's more than $5 a bottle. But anyway, seriously, why is it that Obama wants to have such close ties with this country, with this man? It's obvious to anybody, to a thinking person, to a thinking man or a thinking woman. It's obvious that there's something wrong with this guy. And why is it that Obama thinks that he can identify with this guy in any way, shape, or form? I don't understand. Other than the fact, like I say, it's an ugly situation. The reason why they do have similar ground. Anyway, you want to dispute me? 979-31-TALK-6. 979-31-TALK-6. White House ignored early warnings on Solyndra loan. Well, for those of you that don't know about Solyndra, that was the green jobs. It's one of the big companies that they loaned millions and millions, nearly $1 billion to. Actually, it was over $500 million, but still, that is a lot of money. They did it on basically trying to push their whole greens job. And that's the thing, is there's a reason why, again, the private sector is not in the green sector. And why that is because it can't make money. It can't survive on its own. So to think that just by pumping $500 million into a company that does something that no private company will do, to think that would pay off in any way, shape, or form, you're out of your freaking mind. And that's the type of thinking that these idiotic Democrats, these idiotic left-wing morons, that's the type of thinking that they have. Is that, oh, well, nobody's tried it. We should go out there and try it. Well, there's a very good reason why nobody's tried it. There's a reason why capitalism works. There's a reason why the private sector works, because people come up with an idea, they pitch it, and the investors look at it, and they look at the plans, and they look at investigations done on it, tests that are done on it, and surveys that are done on it, and they make a decision. They say, yes, this can make money, and it can stay afloat, or it can't. And when it can't, guess what they do? They don't do it. Not real hard. Not very hard to figure out. But you can't get this through the minds of the leftists. And the funny part is, whenever the people ask the White House about most of this stuff, all they say is that, yeah, sure, we knew that a lot of these companies were not going to make it. Well, if you knew it, why did you throw the money away, billions and billions of dollars, to all these companies? Why did you do it? Because you wanted America to be the green leader of the world. Well, Let me tell you something. It's not the time to do it. Our economy can't take it. And number three, the fact is the technology's not there. And let me be the first to say, the very moment that the technology catches up to your dreams and it's there, there's going to be all kinds of private companies out there doing it themselves. So you won't have to give out loans to all these like fake upstarts and stuff. You won't have to do that because the private sector will do it on its own because people want to make money. When you stop taxing the crap out of people, people will take their money. The middle class will take their money and invest it into these type of things. They will invest it into investment bankers, which will in turn around, invest it into these type of companies, and those people will all make money. Again, government doesn't create squat. They don't create jobs. They don't create businesses. Oh, well, they do, but they're all like this. They're all short-term and they all fail. Just look at the post office. That's a fully funded government-issued thing right there. And look at it, they can't even make their loan payments. Anyway, moving on. Next, man text, I need to quit texting before driving off a cliff. He literally wrote that moments before he drove off a cliff. I need to quit texting. That should be a good reminder to you folks out there that that's just not a good idea. I can't say that I've never done that, and it's something that I need to work on. But, that's a tragedy. Maybe we can all, learn something from. What else? Man angry over arrest smashes police car fleet with tractor. Now, I shouldn't laugh at this, but so many of you have to understand this. I know that we have all felt the frustration of having to deal with a police officer or police officers that were really, stepping over the bounds of what they're allowed to do. This particular guy actually didn't. He was arrested for weed, and he resisted arrest. But I can understand the sentiment of what this man was feeling. I don't, agree with what he did. And, I don't think he should have done this. I don't think he had any reason to do this. But it's just kind of funny because I know that every average person out there has felt frustration with their local police. And basically, the quote from the chief deputy there, "We had nothing to pursue him with," said Newport Chief Deputy Philip Brooks, who went outside to see 7 of his fleet's 11 vehicles destroyed. Again, I really shouldn't laugh at that, but sometimes you just feel like you got to get back at the man. And I guess this guy did in a big way. I'm so glad nobody was hurt. It was only material things, and those type of things can be replaced. But I can see that this guy was definitely frustrated. The Big Bash, 86% of Romney coverage negative. Media bias has gone from bad to ridiculous. During Mitt Romney's overseas visit earlier this week, 86% of the coverage on ABC, CBS, and NBC emphasized Romney's perceived gaffes. According to a content analysis of 21 major stories by the Media Research Center, which also compared Mr. Romney's trip to a similar excursion made by President Obama in 2008. The results, the broadcast networks committed 53 minutes of almost entirely negative coverage to Mr. Romney and 92 minutes of gushing to Mr. Obama. Now, seriously, all the lefties out there, really, do y'all still hold to the fact that the media is not entirely biased to Mr. Obama and to the Democrats and the whole left agenda? Really, are you guys really trying to say that ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, you're trying to tell me that those people are not biased? Really? Look at the numbers. If you don't believe me, look at the numbers. The reason why you can't see it is because you hold the same beliefs that they have. So when you see a story on the TV, you just nod and say, yep, that's right. But if you were to step back and either be like me or be like, some of my conservative friends, I'm a little bit more from an outside viewpoint, because I am kind of the outsider looking in, because again, I'm not Democrat or Republican, so I can see it more than most people. So like when I'm watching all these news broadcasts, all I'm thinking is, oh, that was 6 Democrat positive stories, and that was 1 Democrat or 1 Republican positive story. That's basically all I'm looking at. But seriously, if you just look at the numbers, if you really would just take the time to look at the numbers, and then the next time, once you realize it, the next time that you're listening to ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, whoever, whatever your favorite news channel is, NPR, whatever, why don't you think about that? Why don't you think about, what? They just told me one thing, but more than likely they're going to be covering for the left side or the Democrats, or they're just going to be making things, making something out of nothing for the right side. I really wish you people would wake up and realize what they're doing. John Kerry, climate change as much of a threat as Iran's nukes. Seriously? This is the guy that a lot of people wanted to put in office. Climate change as much as a threat as Iran's nukes. Okay, that is complete hyperbole. That is ridiculousness at an insane apex. That is just crazy. Look, one nuclear weapon is going to have a greater impact on the Earth's climate than 100 years of driving vehicles and cutting trees down and all that stuff. These days, nuclear weapons are so powerful. They can't even detonate them atop the ground. They have to dig miles and miles and miles into the earth to detonate them, to test them, because they are so powerful, because they do have such far and horrible effects, far-reaching and horrible effects. Anyway, don't agree with me? 979-31-TALK-6. Give me a call. Tell me what I'm making up here. Tell me I'm full of it. Or agree with me. Give me some ideas. Tell me somewhere else to look, something else to investigate into. This is, I'm your divining rod. I'm trying to find the truth out of all the garbage out there that we get thrown at every day. Obama's "you didn't build that," the most famous words of his presidency. Yeah, that's a pretty bad gaffe, but honestly, I think more than anything, again, like I said in I believe it was my last show, the importance of this is the fact that Obama got off of his teleprompter and he started talking from his heart. The first time President Obama has ever spoken from his heart, he started spouting these Marxist ideas, these Marxist sentiments. I mean, again, you people want to deny it, that's fine. But if you look at the facts, you look at the people he grew up around, you look at the people he hung out in college, you look at his Marxist professors in college, which are the people that he hung out with, his friends, and he admitted to it in his book. In his book, he's just basically talking about what he used to talk to them about. All these Marxist ideas and the things that he wants with America, with the world. And that's what happens. That's what happened when he got off the teleprompter. And the funny part about it is, it caused such a huge issue with their campaign that they forcibly put him back on the teleprompter. So now he's going to stop, basically shooting from the hip. He's going to get back on the teleprompter so that they can control the medium. They can control the dialogue that he's putting out there. Because, I don't know. I can't even imagine what he says in the White House behind closed doors, that we can't hear. But they just don't want him saying those type of things when he's out on the campaign trail. And I don't blame him, because if he kept doing it, I think even the most ardent leftists, the most ardent Democrats, I think would ultimately have to say, whoa, wait a minute. I might be a Democrat, but I'm not a communist. I don't know. You tell me. Oh, and I really don't even want to talk about this. Just the whole Chick-fil-A thing. I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. But now the kiss-in. So today is supposed to be the kiss-in. And I don't know. I've been looking for reports all over of some kind of pictures, something in the media, and we're really not getting anything. The only thing that I saw was earlier today, some of the people that don't like Chick-fil-A, they vandalized the side of one of the Chick-fil-A's and what they wrote something about hate. I don't know, and used the little cow thing, tried to make it, I guess, kind of funny, but I don't know how vandalism is funny, and I don't know how that helps anybody. I mean, if you're debating somebody, that's great. You can discuss things, you can go back and forth, you can counter something that somebody said, you can talk about things, you can talk things out, you can understand people's point of view better. But vandalism and just being mean and hateful, I don't see how that helps anything. I do think it's funny how, again, the left, when they have problems with something, they vandalize, they admonish employees, like we saw earlier with that guy that harassed the Chick-fil-A employee. They threaten and do, mean things like that. And then you have things like, what we had on Wednesday, where people just went and supported. Nobody was causing a ruckus. Nobody was being mean or ugly. They just went in, supported, did what they needed, and we're done. And then you also have the whole comparison of Occupy Wall Street, which is a very liberal, very left-leaning movement. You had all these horrible things going on, people getting raped, people crapping on cop cars, destroying businesses, basically keeping businesses from operating. And, all this like anti-Semitism going on throughout, and just being, mean and crude and rude, all this mess. And then, of course, when all the Occupy Wall Street people leave, there's just nothing but garbage and hundreds of pounds of feces on the ground. It's a very crazy comparison when you look at that, and then you look at something like the Tea Party, which is a very conservative, right side of the road type thing, where people pay for all of the permits to do the demonstration. They pay the city, unlike the Occupy Wall Street folks. They get all that. They get the police out there. They pay for the police to be out there, where the Occupy folks don't. They clean up everything once they leave. They don't leave messes, unlike the Occupy folks. You don't see all the garbage of all the hate and stuff like that. Sure, you see people with edited photos trying to say that, they're saying racist and stuff like that. I've been to quite a few Tea Party rallies, and I can tell you I've never, ever seen anything that was racist. And I would love to see anybody say that they've never seen anything bad at a Occupy Wall Street get together. If you did, it was a very small one. Let me tell you that. That's just I think, a very telling comparison, because as much as the left talks about inclusion and they love everybody, and they want they want to share their viewpoints and be kind and generous. It's just striking how they say so many things, yet what they do is the complete opposite. Whereas with conservative folks, just the facts and the figures show you conservative people donate more to charity. They volunteer more. They basically walk. They walk the walk that they talk. And I think we both have things that we could learn from each other. But I think that's something that the left really needs to look at, and they need to look and learn from the right and understand that there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. But either way, they both have things that are good about them, but it's just sad that one side of it just keeps bringing up all this negativity. It's like, which side has the most negativity? Sure, is the Tea Party, is everything about them the best in the world? I'm sure there's something you could come up with. I can't think anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's just something about them that's not the greatest. I'm not trying to say that they're the best thing, since sliced bread, but while there are good things about the Occupy Wall Street folks, there is just a whole bunch of bad things. Anyway, moving on. Chinese swimmer steroids allegations. Now, this stuff, I hate talking about the Olympics. Not really my bag, but, this just keeps coming up about all the doping and stuff like that. And I want you folks to understand something, and it's obviously something that the media can't understand. And I understand, because the media is backwards and they're far behind things. They don't get it. They're looking at things through a lens that is 5 or 10 years old. But let me help you folks out as far as the whole doping situation. I have a long background in supplements and personal training and stuff like that. I have a very good grasp and understanding about how all this stuff works. And let me tell you, first and foremost, the only thing that you could ever get an Olympic athlete on would possibly be blood doping. There are certain type of what we call performance drugs, PEDs, PED, performance enhancing drugs. There are certain types of PEDs that have to do with like blood that you can basically give somebody and have somebody have better endurance. Those are the only type of PEDs that you could actually test for and catch somebody doing during the Olympics, or during a bike race, or during a football game, a basketball game, a baseball game. That's the only type of drug that you could test them for, that you could actually catch them with. And the reason why I bring that up is because regular steroids and stuff that make your muscles grow bigger and react faster, those type of things you don't take during your performance season. You take those in the off season, okay? So all those drugs that they would have taken were taken months and months and months ago, okay? Because of that, they're already out of their system. There's no way to test them and realize that one person has been doping but this other person hasn't. If they did do something like the blood doping, they could test them right then, that day, like like right before or right after the race or the whatever, and they could catch them then. But that's the only way, because in fact within a few days the evidence is gone, because it's already been used up and it's out of the body. So that's the thing is, I want my listeners to understand that the science behind catching PEDs is it's almost 10 years behind the science of the new drugs that are coming out. So if you want to be a professional athlete, heck, if you want to be anybody, if you want to use growth hormone, if you want to use testosterone, if you want to use even like the blood doping and stuff, if you want to use that stuff to boost your endurance or your strength or your agility or your flexibility, whatever it is happens to be in your thing, in your particular event, if you want to do that, it's very easy. You can get away with it, no problem. The only way that they could catch you is if they did random testing in your off season, because again, you won't be using all this. 90% of the drugs probably not even like 99% of any kind of performance enhancing drugs that one would use for sports would all be used in the off season. So unless they happen to do random testing all the time in the off season, that's the only way that you're going to catch these people. And then even then, there are ways around it. So, when you hear all these allegations and stuff, that's cool. And a lot of these people probably are using, they probably are using all kinds of PEDs. And that might anger you, or you might be like me and you just don't care, because the simple fact, the way I look at it is, if you're a professional athlete, you're going to do what it takes. You're going to train any kind of way you can. You're going to eat the way you need. You're going to train as hard as you can. You're going to do all these things to make sure that you win. And taking a pill, putting a syringe in your butt, you're going to do that just as well as you're going to do all the other stuff. So, especially when we're talking about money, the Olympics, I personally can't see it, so much. Why would you do all that in the Olympics? Because you're just going to get a gold medal. Maybe if you could get endorsements, that's cool. But some of you folks are stuck in sports that aren't going to get any kind of, nobody's, endorsing badminton. So, if that's the case, it doesn't make sense. But if you're in one where you could get some huge endorsements and make some huge money, it makes complete sense why you would do it. If you're a professional athlete making millions and millions of dollars a year, absolutely you would do it, because you want to make sure that you put the money on the table for your family. You have a finite amount of time that you can be in the highlight, in the sports, making the money. So you might as well make every year that you do it count and get the most money out of every year. So I completely understand why folks do it. Me, myself, I would never use them. But I can totally understand why professional athletes use them every day, every year. I understand it. But, as far as catching these folks, there's no way. It'll take another 5 years for them to develop and understand and be able to catch the drugs that are being used right now. That's just how it is. The technology to test them lags behind the technology to develop and make them, and that's just the reality. I know a lot of you people are mad. You get mad because you think it's cheating. You think that it's an easy way. It's the easy way out. Well, let me tell you something. You can't use steroids or any type of PEDs and it be an easy way out. All that steroids and all that 99% of these things do, all that they do is they help your body to recover, meaning you can work out more and you can work out harder. So the only thing that they do is allow you to bust your butt even more. So to say that it's a shortcut, or it's like they're being lazy or they're not working hard, that's just, you're making yourself sound stupid, because in fact all it does is it allows that person to work harder than their normal body would ever be able to do. So, you're just kind of putting your foot in your mouth when you talk about that. But yeah, again, my main point, I really could care less about the Olympics. I'm glad we're winning some gold, and I'm happy for all those individual athletes and stuff. That's great. Just doesn't interest me. But again, the drug side of it does, just because of the science angle from it. It interests me in that way. But yeah, I just thought I might give you guys some ideas and some pointers and maybe a little bit more understanding on that, and help you understand that only blood doping's the only one that they're going to be able to catch right away, and all that does is boost your endurance, because it basically replaces your red blood cells and gives your body the ability to pull more oxygen from more blood cells. So yeah, obviously you have more endurance. So yeah, that could really help out, but unless they tested them, within a day or two, there's no way. So, it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. So if you want steroids-free Olympics, then you're going to have to do constant testing. You have to do tons of random testing, and you have to do most of it in the off season. All right, and yeah, if anybody of you investigate it, most of it's not done, and it's usually done once they get there, once they've been off of it for a good while. So anyway, 979-31-TALK-6, 979-31-TALK-6. Give me a call, leave me a message, give me give me some rants, get mad at me, get happy at me, give me some suggestions, what you want on the next show. Also a reminder, go to our YouTube page, The New Republic Show. Go to our our YouTube page. If you don't have a YouTube account, get one. Come on, seriously? It's 2012. You need a YouTube account, all right? Anyway, get one. Like it, dislike it, thumb me up or thumb me down, but subscribe, all right? Okay. Oh, and leave comments. I don't care if they're mean and nasty. Leave those too. Okay, well, I know it's a long show. Sorry about that, but I just had a lot of stuff to talk about, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It is Friday, so I hope you guys have a lot of good, fun stuff planned for the weekend. If not, go and make something up. But yeah, go out, have some fun, educate some people, do some good deeds, help somebody out, open a door for somebody, change a flat for somebody. Go shake an old person's hand. Do something nice. Anyway, y'all have a great one. I really will. I know I shall. And that is it for Friday's New Republic Show. I'm your host, Keith Clark. I'm out.